Unbelievable, man. Well, a lot of this plays right into the third habit that Humphrey was talking about, which is we'll skip over habit number 2 since it plays right into habit number 3, solely relying on one income.
And so this has been my same philosophy since the first book I read. We've talked about on the show, Robert G. Allen's Multiple Streams of Income.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought if it's not a conflict of interest, having outside business, having a 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. job was a good thing. It's the entrepreneurial, smart, healthy thing for you to do for your family.
Right.
I have been bastardized more times than I can count by people that I thought were respectable, upstanding colleagues because they've looked at the things I'm doing. When we started on social media, for example, I got openly made fun of in meetings. People were pointing at me and laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear a lot of that laughing now, but now they're saying, oh, he's more focused on this than he's okay. At one hand, it was a joke for you people.
Right.
And now that it's getting attention and taken seriously, now it's a threat to you people.
Right.
I can probably list off 30 people over the course of the last 20 years who've tried to get me fired for doing exactly that, having a second activity to make money.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's really easy for people to first of all, make fun of somebody who's trying to do something that they themselves know that they can't or don't have the ability to put themselves out there. Because this is I'll be honest, for me, especially for me, I know you've done a lot of public speaking, right? And granted, this isn't in front of a public audience.
No, this is public.
But
yeah.
I mean, when you're sitting in front of a microphone and it's going out to thousands of listeners,
yeah.
right? Some episodes, tens of thousands of listeners.
It's not easy.
It's not easy because in knowing that you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position.
Yeah.
Right. So as long as it's something that we've taught and through the reps,
that doesn't justify people you work with attacking you for it. If the internet wants to attack you because they don't know you, that's fine. People who do know you who attack you because of it, that's insecurity. That's a big difference to me.
It is, absolutely. And people that find some type of comfort in attacking us for something like this, it's just you're just ashamed that you couldn't even begin to fathom sitting up here and doing what we're doing or anything that you're doing else on the side, because you know what, it's too difficult.
Well, the depots came up today. They were talking about the podcast. How much time do you spend doing that? When do you record? Mind you, this has nothing to do with the wrongful termination claim.
Bro, we should start every episode moving forward. Welcome back to the Higher Standard Podcast. It is now 10 p.m.
And this is not the first time the podcast has been brought up, but so this is going to come from an arrogant sounding position, and I don't want anybody listening to this to feel that way. But I want you to understand that you kind of have to adopt a little bit of this attitude. Humphrey's not wrong. You do need a 5 to 9. In a world where inflation is what it's been for the last 2 years, if you've resided to accepting your salary, in my mind, you have given up. I know that sounds callous. I'm not trying to be a dick. Even myself, I have not accepted my salary. This is not the height of what I think I can earn and is representative of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that no one ever feels that they've reached that.
Right.
And there are some people who say, you know what, I value time and my family and all. Fine. If that's the way you value things, fine. For me, personally, we shouldn't demonize wanting more. That's not greed.
Right.
That's wanting to grow. At our core basis, we as humans are growing constantly. We're growing constantly. Why do we get to a point in our careers where we get satisfied? And why are people demonized for not being satisfied?
Right.
If you're out there doing something that's not a conflict, if it's not taking away from your time at your work, when the fuck did companies own you?
They shouldn't, exactly.
They don't own you.
As long as you're able to, do your job, the full entire job description, right? And to Humphrey's point, it's not just also having a 5 to 9 like we're talking about here. He's also talking about multiple streams of income, whether that be rental properties, whether that be, interest income, whether that be starting another business on the side, the profits that generates, interest income. So all of those things. And
that's all stuff we advocate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm not saying you should have all those things, but at the same time, you should always be striving to grow and learn and build.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you start a company that doesn't make you any money, or you start an investment that winds up failing, you will learn from doing that.
Yep.
Those failures are not things to be embarrassed of. You can be proud of every single fucking one. I started a company and it failed. I started a fashion-based website and it didn't go very well.
Yeah, but how much did you learn?
I learned a tremendous amount about coding, about HTML, about Google Analytics, about how to post stuff, about the industry, about clothing and fashion.
Which rolled right over into this.
Yeah, a lot of that rolled into this. I mean, that's how I learned how to edit video. That's how we get our video out today, is from website design back in the day, back when it was Macromedia Flash.
Mm-hmm.
So for those people who were out there demonizing people who were trying to get better, let me just be clear. Fuck you.
Love that.
You know what I mean? Like, if just because you've given up or you think that's, oh, you got to be doing that on company time, how about I'm not doing it on company time?
Right, exactly.
How about I'm doing it the hours that you're fucking around with your family and doing all sorts of fun things. You got hobbies and shit. Good for you.
Yeah.
You belong to a club. The guy opposing me today, I can tell you, spends a lot of time out at networking events, belongs to a club, has a whole bunch of social shit, and he probably does it all under the auspice of I'm an attorney because his entire ego is wrapped into that. You know what I am? I'm growing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just an attorney. I don't want to be just a banker.
Or just labeled any one thing.
I don't want to be. I want to continue to build up my weaknesses. And if someone says, hey, you're a fantastic attorney, well, you might be a shit real estate investor. You might be a shit business person.
Mm-hmm.
I was once told by a board member, your job is really important. You can't have all these distractions. And my compromise was simple. Okay, fine. Totally agree. Then buy my time.
Yeah.
Let's go get a comp study done. And you should pay me 80 to 90% of similarly situated peers in the market because you're buying all of my time. I don't want to be in the middle echelon equivalent.
That's fair. 80 to 90%.
Yeah, you pay me the top tier to do what I do, and I will give you top tier to do what I do results.
Yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't mean I can't have a real estate portfolio. It doesn't mean I can't invest in stock. Right. That doesn't mean that I can't still tap into those other income streams. But if you're saying you want me available to you more than 8 hours a day, you want me available around the clock, which, by the way, I am.
Yes. Yeah. You've already proven that time and
time again. If you want those things and you want them in writing, you want them committed, then you have to pay for them.
Right.
But people are like, oh, Chris, that's greedy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me be clear. If anybody listening to this feels underappreciated, 9 times out of 10, when you feel that way at a job, it's because you don't feel compensated. And people will demonize you saying, hey, I want more money. They'll give you an attaboy. They'll give you a ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you'll get a nice little acrylic plaque. You'll be President's Club.
Or get some fancy title.
I'm sorry. All that shit means nothing to me.
Yeah.
The way you show appreciation in corporate America is you take that $1.9 million in revenue per employee that Apple's making, and you say, you know what? We're going to give you, employee, more money than your peers, or we're going to pay you top of the peer group.
Yeah. So
that you do feel appreciated. And anybody who tells you that that's unjustified or unappreciated or unwarranted or you're impatient or you're lacking vision, they're trying to push you down because they either can't do it or they won't do it. And that's it.
Right. And just to take a couple steps back on what you said not too long ago was it's hard to sit and listen to somebody complain, right? Like, for instance, I would never sit and complain about the situation that I may be in to somebody like you, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't.
No, it's not that you wouldn't listen, but it's also like it's good. It's good to be around some people like that because it makes you realize like I do have more capability. I could push myself a little bit more, right?
Yeah, but I think every human's got a different level of output though.
Right.
So I think what's stressful for you, stressful for Arun, stressful for me, it's all different.
But if you're not happy with your set of circumstances, then don't act like there's nothing you can do.